Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build is the low-life Beastmaster Beserker. And the reason we're updating this build and changing around a little bit is we did do a Beastmaster build that was kind of like this, but it depended upon Thorn Totems being procced and getting the mana back, and then they nerfed that in patch 8D. So we're going to go ahead and do a low-life version. We're going to change up the Earthquake skill tree. We're getting rid of Thorn Totems altogether and replacing it with Tornado, which will give us some extra attack speed and some mana regeneration. And we're going to be basing this around using one companion, just the wolf. We don't care if he lives or survives, or dies. We're not going to try and revive him. We're just using him so that we can use his wolf minion ability on our toolbar, because every time that we use it, we get aspect of the links, and then on top of it, it buffs us like crazy. We get frenzy, so that gives us 20% attack speed. We get haste, thanks to in the wolf tree, the note taken, so you get 20% increased movement speed. We have 50% increased damage after it goes off, 150% increased crit chance. We have 100% added melee damage. Like, it gives you all sorts of benefits so that your damage goes up, your attack speed goes up, you get haste so you can run around faster. And then again, instead of Thorn Totem, we're going to be running Tornado so that we get 21% increased attack speed and we get more movement speed out of it, along with some mana regen. So you're going to be moving quicker, and then you're just going to be stacking aspects. You're going to have aspect of the boar for another 30% damage reduction because you're low life, and the passives inside of the Beastmaster are actually in the Primalist tree. You're going to be able to get another 100% more melee damage and 30% damage reduction. So you're going to take very little damage. You're going to have a pretty decent amount of ward regen, and then your damage is just going to be insane. So we're able to do 500k crits against the training dummy with Earthquake. Our swipe is hitting for 20 to 30k, and that damage only goes up. Unfortunately, against the training dummy, we can only have 2 stacks of aspect of the shark because we're not killing anything, and it doesn't count as a rare or boss to start getting stacks. So you can't really stack up the damage like you do out in real combat. But up against the Emperor, when we were getting 10, 20, 30 stacks, we were doing crits with Earthquake above 60, 70k, which means that we'd be easily doing 600,000 or 700,000 against the training dummy, and swipe was hitting for 5,000 damage against it, which means it'd be hitting 50k on the training dummy, which is just an absolute insane amount considering how fast you can attack with swipe with dual wielding, and it's now giving mana back on hit, which allows you to do Earthquake. We respect Earthquake compared to the other build. We are now using it for a guaranteed stun chance, and we have a 6.6 second cooldown on it. However, it is worth it. It does 3 hits, and it's basically going to annihilate any single target that you have in those 3 hits. So unless it's the Emperor or something with just an absolute boss amount of life, it's only going to take 1 or 2 hits with Earthquake to completely whittle it down. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the skills. First skills, we're running Swipe, Summon Frenzy Totem, Earthquake, Summon Wolf, and Tornado. For Swipe, we have this set up to get some crit multi, crit chance, get mana back on hit, and have a huge chance to summon our Spirit Wolves, which do our same melee damage that we do, but in an area. They have 3 wolves that'll go out in a big area, as you saw in some of the gameplay in the intro. And then we also get a big boost to attack speed and damage. We have 2 points in Blood Beast. We don't really care about the bleed chance, but this is how you get on the path to unlock the mana on hit. 1 point in Rending for some physical shred chance. This helps with damage a little bit. And 3 points in Duality of Nature so that we get 9 mana gained every time that we hit an enemy, at least one with Swipe. We have 4 points in Aspect of the Panther so that we can get up to 8 stacks. You get 1 stack per hit. Up to 8 stacks can be stacked, and each stack gives you 10% global damage for up to 80% global damage total. We have 3 points in Wild Calling, so there's a 45% chance on hit to call forth 3 Spirit Wolves. These Spirit Wolves are melee. They're going to do the exact same damage that you do with Swipe, but they're going to do it in a larger area. They're going to kind of go out in a cone shape and hit all enemies in front of you, which is very useful, especially when you're dealing with large mob groups and some high density in like echoes or in the arena. They're very, very nice. We have 1 point in Feline Hunter for some global attack speed, 3 points in Ambush for global crit chance, and 3 points in Apex Predator for 75% global critical strike multiplier, which helps when you do use Earthquake. It's going to hit like a truck. For Summon Frenzy Totem, we're using this for a lot of crit chance, for some added melee damage, and then of course 4 increased attack speed. So by default, the Frenzy Totem gives you 20% increased attack speed with Frenzy. With 4 points of rapidity, you increase that effect by 40%, so it's giving you 28% increased attack speed. We have 2 points in Beast Style Frenzy, which gives your companions some flat melee physical damage, which is just for our one wolf. We don't care about this too much, but we did unlock Lead the Pack, which means every time that we use Howl, we gain an additional 150% crit chance, which is a lot. We then have 5 points in Grounded for 25 added global melee physical damage. This is going to help both Swipe and Earthquake do more damage. 1 point in Dig In so that we're tethered so that we get 100% increased damage. 5 points in Dig Deep so that we have 250% increased critical strike chance while tethered. If you have yourself tethered, not only do you do more damage, but you are guaranteed to crit with every hit that you do at this point. For Earthquake, Earthquake is going to be our boss killer. It's going to be our rare, high health, absolute destroyer. Not only is it going to destroy them and kill them within 1 or 2 hits, but it's also going to guaranteed stun them, which is really nice. You can interrupt anything that they're doing. So like the Emperor, I like to interrupt his big explosion that he does. I'd let him stack it up for like 1 second and then just hit him with Earthquake, and boom, he no longer was using it. It's very nice if you use it and time it well. No big hit or AoE, anything that can kill you in one shot or is capable of killing you in one shot, especially at like high waves in the arena or high echoes streak in the mono, you can interrupt it, which is really nice. And not only will you interrupt it, more than likely by the time the 3rd hit goes off, they're dead. So we have 4 points in Rupture for 60% increased initial hit damage, 1 point in Seismic Smash so that we no longer have Aftershocks. Instead, the damage for Aftershocks is just added to the initial hit damage. 1 point in Seismic Tide so that we now have a 2-second cooldown. The mana cost is raised up, basically doubled. It's now 100 mana total, but your initial hit occurs 3 times, which means you're going to get 3 initial hits, and the 3rd one is going to hit the hardest. The first one will have a little bit reduced damage and radius. The second one will have slightly reduced radius and damage, but the 3rd one is going to hit for 30% more damage and with a 30% bigger radius. And that 3rd hit, if whatever it is you're attacking is still alive, isn't going to be alive after that hit. With 4 points in Concussion for some more initial hit damage and increased stun chance, 1 point in Staggering Force. This guarantees the initial hit will always stun, and you're doing 3 initial hits, so it's actually back-to-back stuns, which is really nice. There's no cooldown on being able to stun an enemy, so you will get all 3 stuns, and each initial attack is about a 1-second separate, so basically for 3 seconds, the enemy will be stunned, which is going to be about half your cooldown of the skill. And then 1 point in Shattered Resolve to increase that stun duration, which I believe is 0.6 or 0.7 seconds by default. This will get it really close to 1 second. This increases the cooldown by 10%, so instead of a 6-second cooldown, you'll now be dealing with a 6.6 second cooldown. If you want on your helmet, you can get cooldown recovery speed. I didn't, but you can get the cooldown under 6 seconds. You can get it to like 5.8, 5.9 seconds, which is always nice. You could get rid of this and get it even lower, 5.4, 5.5 seconds, which is just going to increase the chance of you being able to interrupt any boss that's doing a one-shot type move. We have 3 points in Outbreak for some increased area, and 5 points in Shatterquake for more damage against chilled or frozen enemies, and this is what makes it do such a huge amount of damage, is that 150% more damage is just huge. Now, if you want to put more points into the stun duration or more into damage, such as the Crushing Wake for the 20% aftershock damage, which is 20% more damage with the initial hit, I would take the 2 points out of the area. For Summon Wolf, we are spec'd into the Wolf Tree. You can spec into Mouse Room, but I just found it to be really mana heavy, even though you get some dodge and some good things out of it. I spec'd into the Wolf Tree because I realized that the Wolf Howl gets benefits in the tree, and these benefits affect you. So for instance, we have 2 points in Snarl. So when your wolf uses Howl, or when you use the ability on your trouble, not only are you proccing Aspect of the Lynx, which is what we were originally using it for, but you now get 100% increased melee damage. 1 point Victory Howl means that when your wolf gets a kill, it has a 10% chance to automatically cast it. This doesn't affect the cooldown of the skill or cost mana. 3 points in Call of the Wind gives you haste. You get 3 seconds of haste after a howl, so you can move faster. 2 points in Battle Cry gives you all the buff. You get 50% increased duration of all the buffs from house. So things like your haste is now 4.5 seconds. Things like the melee damage and all that, which I believe just lasted 4 seconds, now lasts 6 seconds. So you get a lot of the attack speed and damage boost for a bit longer, almost enough time that you'll have 100% uptime of it, but not quite. We have 5 points in On the Hunt for more attack speed for the wolves, 3 points in Howl of the Might for more damage. We were going for the more dodge rating, and 4 points in Canine Agility for that flat dodge rating and increased dodge rating per strength. On top of the every time you howl, it'll get triple that 30% increased dodge rating for 90% increase. Every time they howl, they just have a higher chance of surviving because they can dodge a lot of the hits that come their way. Your wolf is going to die though. We're not built into any type of minion stats on our gear. Your wolf is going to die, but we don't care. Don't try and revive it. You'll automatically resummon it when the cooldown's up and you'll begin howling again. So not a big deal. For Tornado, we have this set up for attack speed, instacast so it doesn't interrupt us, for some mana regen, and for some move speed. So we have 1 point in Aspect of the Storm. So you can see how many aspects we have going here. We have Aspect of the Shark, Aspect of the Panther, Aspect of the Boar, Aspect of the Lynx, Aspect of the Shark, and Aspect of the Storm. We have 6 different aspects buffs going on this build at all times, which really buffs it up and makes it feel really good. I really like the feeling of having 6 different buffs, all, you're simultaneously building them up with different things too. You're getting some on kill, you're getting some with tornado, you're getting some with swipe. It's really nice the way that you build it up. We have 3 points in Gust of Renewal, so that we have 9% increased mana regen. 3 points in Storm Dervish, so that we have 21% increased attack speed. 2 points in Swift Rings, 3 points in Lasting Storm, 4 points in Hurricane, 1 point in Tornadoes attaching to you, and you no longer cast the additional tornado, so you will basically have it to where it is now attached to you and you won't be able to see your character anymore, but it's alright, it works. You have to take that in order to get the 1 point snap gale to make it an insta-cast. It will not have a 4-second cooldown, but it will no longer interrupt you whenever you're going to cast it, so you'll be able to have 100% uptime of it, 100% uptime of its buffs, and it won't stop you from moving. And the mana cost on it is fine because Swipe will be giving you mana back all the time. And 2 points in Storm Soul to reduce the recovery, the cooldown on it, so that you can cast it more often, and it has a little bit more base damage. This will guarantee that you have 100% uptime of the Aspect of the Storm. For passives, we're running 25 points in the Primalist base class with 5 points in Natural Attunement, 5 points in Primal Strength, 1 point in Harmony of Blades, 5 points in Hunter's Restoration, 4 points in Tempest Bond, and 5 points in Beserker. This is what gives you that 100% more melee damage at low life and 30% less damage taken on low life. The 5 points in Hunter's Restoration, we did it for the increased health, although the health restored is kind of a downside of it. So if you have problems with the health every 3 seconds that you gain, it's only 40, it's not a huge deal. You can definitely switch these 5 points out and go with more of the attunement and more of the strength. We have 0 points in the Druid, 10 points in the Shaman, with 1 point in Silent Protector, 5 points in Totemic Fury, so that we have 25% increased attack speed when our Frenzy Totem is active, and 4 points in Shamanic Infusion for 4 points of attunement and 4% penetration. And 76 points in the Beastmaster, our mastered class, with 8 points in Ursane Strength, 2 points in Savagery, 1 point in Ambush, 1 point in Rending Maul, 4 points in Hunters of the Deep, 4 points in Boar Heart, 5 points in Porcine Constitution, 2 points in Primal Strength, 5 points in the Circle of Life, 1 point in Dragon Slayer, 8 points in Ocean Maul, 1 point in Feeding Frenzy, 10 points in Primal Aspects, 8 points in Cry of the Lynx, 6 points in Serrated Claws, and 10 points in Viper Fangs. For items and idols, we have one type of idol on. We're using the flat health and increased health, and we also have flat health and increased critical strike chance, but they're all 1x2s. Whichever one, you don't really need the critical strike chance, so if you have the health ones, just go with all health that you can on as many of them as possible, because the more health you have, the more survivability that you will have. And then for uniques, as a low life build, we are wearing 2 uniques. We have both Insanguius and Last Steps of the Living On. For our weapons, we're dual wielding Raider axes. This is because they come with that base critical strike chance. On them, we have added melee physical damage, added melee critical strike chance, increased stun chance with melee attacks, and increased chance to chill on hit. On the offhand, we have added melee critical strike chance, added critical strike multiplier, increased chance to stun with melee attacks, and increased stun chance. For our helm, we have a Dark Wolf belt with attunement, set physical, increased melee damage, and increased health. For our amulet, we have a silver amulet for increased critical strike chance. You can instead get an amulet for the reduced damage over time taken. That'll increase your survivability a little bit, but not standing in dots is pretty easy nowadays. You just have to be aware of your surroundings. On this, we have critical strike multiplier, critical strike chance, elemental resist, and flat health. We are wearing 2 silver rings. On the right ring, we have set Fizz, set Necrotic, Elemental Resist, and Health. On the left ring, we have set Necrotic, Attunement, Elemental Resist, and Flat Health. We have a bronze belt with set Physical, set Necrotic, Hybrid Health, and Increased Health. We're wearing the Soul Embraces for the increased critical strike chance. We have Strength, Attunement, Flat Health, and Hybrid Health on it. And we have a Radiant Crest for the critical strike multiplier with Attunement, set Fizz, Elemental Resist, and Health. For our character sheet, we have 24 points of strength, 40 points of attunement. It's why we have so much mana. We are capped on our resistances except for poison and necrotic. We are 1 T5 set necrotic a fix away. Feel free to put that on your relic instead of attunement. You could definitely put that on your relic, or you could put it on your gloves instead of strength or attunement. There's kind of a few places you could put it. We had it on our boots, but then we went low life and I didn't feel like re-gearing again. So we don't have that cap, but you'll do just fine without. You have so much damage reduction from other places. But if you want a true min-max, get one more tier 5 set necrotic on one of your pieces of gear that don't have it. We have 17% armor, no dodge. Our damages, just sitting doing nothing, we have 300% melee damage, 345% critical strike multiplier. And then to show you how those can really just buff up real easily, I'm going to go ahead and put my skills on autocast like I normally would, get our frenzy totem going. You can see with just our skills active, we jump up to over 600% melee damage when everything is going and active. With the howl and everything, you can get up to 654%. You get 405% critical strike multiplier, and that's why it'll start to hit like a truck. And then once you throw some swipe in there and start getting hits with that, you can see your melee damage goes up, your critical strike multiplier goes up. We're sitting at 900% melee damage. We're sitting at 480% critical strike multiplier. And remember, that's only with one stack of aspect of the shark. You'll get more than 1 to 2 stacks once you're actually attacking mobs. You'll get 10, 20, 30. You'll get 10% more attack speed per stack. You'll get 50% more melee damage per stack. Once you get 20 to 30 stacks, you'll be well above the 2000% melee damage. Your melee attack speed will be above 300, 400. You can get as high as 500% attack speed. Right now we're at 180% attack speed. You know, with this, give or take a little, 10%, it kind of jumps around a little bit. And then for the skill rotation, once again, you'll put those 3 on auto cache. You have all your aspects going, and then you'll have a 6.6 second cooldown on Earthquake. But as soon as your mana's full, or as soon as you're at a rare or a boss type, just go ahead and slam that down, and you'll see it's hitting for 3, 4, 500,000 damage. You get your mana back really quick, and then you can hit another Earthquake there. You can see we're hitting for over 400,000 damage with it. That damage goes up as you get more aspects of the shark, and your melee damage goes up. So like I said, right now we only have 2 stacks of aspect of the shark. When you get to 20 or 30 stacks, you're going to be hitting so much harder. I wouldn't even be surprised if you hit, if we could get that many stacks on String W, we'd probably be doing 1 million damage crits with it. And that is how you play this entire build. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some more gameplay. Don't forget to sub if you like the video. Don't forget to like the video. Plenty of more content coming in this weekend. We'll be working on some guides for loot filter and crafting. Have a good one.